Good evening, Royals fans, and welcome to another Royals recap. Tonight's recap is for the game on August 2nd, Game 2 of a 4-game series against the hated rivals, the Detroit Tigers, in Detroit. And this game was a fun, close game until it was a fun, not close game. Just a really great night to be a Royals fan, as the Royals have won 5 in a row. They beat the Tigers by a score of 9-2 tonight. And as you may have figured out by now, this is Jeremy, one half of the Royals Rundown podcast. The other half, Jacob, I would probably say the better half, is still having some technical difficulties, so I'm stepping in tonight. And the Royals are 2-0. On nights when I'm going to do the Royals recap. So you all should maybe you should lobby Jacob to let me do this more often. Except I can't, but that's a whole nother thing. If you want more stuff about the Royals, be sure to check out Royals Review, where Jacob and I both do writing, and there are a lot of other terrific writers over there. Lots of really good content for you. So let's go ahead and talk about this game. This one was hyped up. As it was aired on Apple TV tonight, they had to be feeling really good about Tarik Skubal versus Cole Ragans, a nice pitching duel tonight. And it for most of 6 innings, for a little bit, actually more than 6 innings, it looked like that was what it was going to be. Cole Ragans ended up going tonight, only allowing 2 hits, striking out 6 in 5 2/3 innings. He did walk 4. And he gave up a home run. That home run was in the first inning after one of his walks to Justin Henry Malloy, who was designated hitter tonight. And so at first it kind of seemed like, oh boy, Tarik Skubal had a really good first inning. He struck out Michael Garcia, got Bobby Witt Jr., and then struck out Vinny Pasquantino on 3 pitches with a fastball looking. It was looking rough after that first inning. But then Salvador Perez came to the plate in the second inning. Actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. I was talking about the pitching. So Cole Ragans, 5 2/3, did not go all the way in this one, did not get a quality start. Fought his control a little bit. His velocity was still a little bit down, though he did top 97 on his last batter of the night as he was going up against Javi Baez. Lucas Erceg came in. This was a moment when you said, okay, as we're getting close, the game is still close when Cole Ragans is pulled with 2 runners on. Lucas Erceg comes in. Actually, you know what? I'm going to come back to that too. I'm all over the place tonight. Listen, this is what you get when you've got me running the show and no Jacob to keep things on track. So Cole Ragans was pitching great. Tarik Skubal was pitching great also. 6 innings, only gave up 3 runs, which is actually a lot for Skubal, but, and the Royals were in the lead after that 4th inning when they scored 2 runs, and we'll talk about the offense here in a minute and how they got those runs, but he was really pitching tough, and then he came back out for the 7th. His pitch count was still manageable, so Ragans got relieved with 2 runners on in the 6th inning. Skubal gets relieved with 2 runners on in the 7th inning. This is going to be a battle of bullpens now. And the Royals have lost battles of bullpens this year a lot because their bullpens just haven't been able to handle it. But tonight, Lucas Erceg was the guy that came on. He got a hold, his 14th of the season, by inducing a pop-out to get out of that 6th inning. Meanwhile, Tarik Skubal was relieved by Shelby Miller. Now, Shelby Miller has been pitching very, very well. He has been one of the better relievers in the Tigers bullpen all year, and he came into tonight's game with an opportunity to, well, I guess he hasn't been one of the better ones. He's been one of the better ones recently, certainly. He has a 4.35 ERA on the year before tonight, negative 0.1 FWAR, so FWAR didn't really believe in him very much. And then if I can pull up these game logs here, he had, however, had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 straight scoreless appearances coming into tonight's game, and that covered 12 2/3 innings. He'd allowed only 3 hits and 1 walk, struck out 7 over that span, so he was on fire for the Tigers coming into tonight's game. So again, Lucas Erceg comes in, gets the job done. Shelby Miller comes in, gives up 4 straight hits. And all of the inherited runners score. And all 4 of those runners would score as Brisky comes in to relieve him and immediately gives up a few more hits. We'll talk about that more in a moment when we get to the offense. But this was a battle of the bullpens in the 6th and 7th innings. And the Royals bullpen dominated. The Royals bullpen won. The Royals bullpen, I think, has probably been better than the Tigers bullpen this year, but not to the degree that you would have been confident if you didn't have Lucas Erceg, Hunter Harvey waiting down there. All right, so let's talk about the offense. And that means talking about tonight, I think, Salvador Perez, who went 3 for 5, 2 RBIs, 3 runs. He hit a no-doubt, I think it was 450-foot home run, 448-foot home run in the top, leading off the top of the second. So Ragans had just given up the 2 runs in the bottom of the first. And again, Tarik Skubal had that terrific first inning. And Salvador Perez said, oh no, you were not doing the whole perfect thing against the Royals tonight. Deep home run, cut that lead in half. They got a couple more hits in that inning, actually, or a couple more base runners. I think Freddie got a walk. But it worked out. It was like, okay, can they tie it? They didn't tie it. But then we got to the 4th inning, and that was a really fun inning for Salvador Perez again, who came up and he singled to lead off the inning. Just a line drive single into center while they're talking to Jim Leyland, who was just inducted into the MLB Hall of Fame this year, getting his number retired tomorrow night. So that was actually a really interesting interview. As Salvi hit that single. And then Hunter Renfroe came up, and Hunter Renfroe, I tweeted about this today, he has been on fire. One of the best hitters in all of baseball for 2 months now. And he came in there and he doubled down the line, and it bounced up over the left fielder's head. And Valade, I'm not actually sure how you say his name, even though they said it all night long. I was not paying close enough attention, I guess. Bounced up off the wall over his head. So what was Vance Wilson to do but to send Salvi chugging around third base, starting at first, send him home. And he slid expertly around the tag. He was initially called out. Reviews showed it was not even close. The tag was never applied. And Salvi scored the tying run. And then Freddie Fermin tried to bunt for a hit. Sacrifice. Garrett Hampson walks. Paul DeJong on his birthday. Happy birthday, Paul DeJong. Hits a sacrifice fly to left field. He is all aboard for that productive outs train, and the Royals took a 3-2 lead that they would not surrender for the remainder of the night. Funny story about Paul DeJong coming into tonight. He had never gotten a hit on his birthday. He did tonight, but we'll talk about that. I guess we'll talk about that now. So that takes us to the 7th inning. And again, Tarik Skubal comes out. He gets Paul DeJong actually out on a pop out. Then he gives up an infield single to Blanco and a line drive single to Michael Garcia into right field. So then Shelby Miller comes in. Bobby Witt Jr. to the plate. They were like, no, Tarik, you cannot face Bobby Witt for a 3rd time with runners in scoring position. Absolutely not. Bobby Witt, by the way, 3 for 23 in his career against Skubal. I was super glad, honestly, when AJ Hinch pulled Skubal from the game. I was like, all right, yeah, let's go. Let's see your reliever. I don't think Miller's got what it takes, and he didn't. Bobby Witt had a ground ball infield single to Javier Baez. He actually had a ground ball to Javi Baez that was a routine ground ball that he almost beat out earlier. This one was not routine, so he beat it out easily, loaded the bases for Vinny Pasquantino, who immediately singled to left. Everybody's been playing him to pull. He's been pulling a lot of ground balls. He singles on a ground ball to left field, drives in 2, gives the Royals the insurance runs, and you said, all right, I'm feeling pretty good now. By the way, the Royals, at that point, 4 straight hits. So then they do a double steal. Bobby gets his 25th. Vinny gets his first stolen base of the year, and he says, thank you, Bobby. Then there's a wild pitch, so Bobby scores, and Vinny goes to 3rd. And then Salvi's up to the plate again. Again, he's already got 2 hits tonight. He's already scored 2 runs, so he lines a single into right field. Only it's not a single because Salvi is hustling, and he goes to 2nd and just beats the throw there for an RBI double. So then Hunter Renfroe singles into center. Freddie Fermin singles into left. Garrett Hampson singles to right. So at this point, the Royals have batted around. And Paul DeJong comes up to the plate, and it's like, oof. he's got an opportunity to make the first and second outs of an inning. And I know it's bad to make the first and third out, but man, how awful would it be to make the first and second out of an inning? I think that's worse than making the first and third out. And again, he has not gotten a hit on his birthday. He comes in there and he's just singles to right field. Hunter Renfroe scores. Fermin goes to third. Hampson goes to second. The bases are loaded still. And that, my friends, is 9 straight hits. Talk about batting around. 9 straight hits. Unfortunately, Dairon Blanco struck out on a really good 3-2 pitch, and Michael Garcia got robbed by Andy Ibanez on another line drive to right field. So at that point, the Royals were up 9-2. It was pretty easy. Angel Zerpa came in and pitched the 7th. Chris Stratton, I think Erceg would have stayed in for the 7th had it still been close, but it wasn't. So why burn him? Chris Stratton came in and pitched a perfect 8th inning. And then James McArthur, now this was interesting. James McArthur pitched the 9th inning, and I'm not sure what the thinking was there, because when Erceg comes in to be the fireman in the 6th inning, I'm going, okay, so James McArthur's probably still the closer then. But if James McArthur's still the closer, then why are you burning him in the 9th inning of a game that's not close? Now, I have a theory about this, but I'm going to have to look it up, so I'm going to keep talking while I do that, because I don't have Jacob here to talk while I look things up, because, I don't know. Maybe I should have thought about this before I started talking. So James McArthur comes in, and he did give up a single, but he ended up with a scoreless inning, but he didn't get any strikeouts, and he's really concerning me with his lack of strikeouts this year. He's still got really good stuff. It's just doesn't seem to be happening for him. Days of rest. So I wanted to check his days of rest, and yes, it turns out that the more he does really good on 2 days rest, but and he's not great on 1 day's rest, but he's still better there than just about anywhere else. If he has no rest, it's a little bit troublesome, but it's by far the worst are 4 days and 6 days of rest. So maybe the idea was just that James McArthur needs to work more often. He's had some huge breaks this year where he's not pitched in games because the Royals, like tonight, just when they win, they blow teams out. So that's that might have been what the thinking was there. Also, somebody on the internet, on Twitter, proposed the idea that maybe, they're just using guys where it makes sense. That was the highest leverage situation, so Erceg came in for that, and you'd figure out the rest of the bullpen as you're going. Also, absolutely a possibility there. But the other thing we have to talk about is that Salvador Perez had a home run, a single, and then he had a hustling double in that 6th inning. And of course, he went first to third to score on the Hunter Renfroe double. So Salvy's been running all night, and he's a triple shy of the cycle as he comes to bat in the top of the 8th. And I jokingly tweeted, "Cycle watch Salvador Perez." The Royals kind of famously at this point, the longest stretch in MLB without a cycle. And wouldn't you know it, Salvy hit a deep fly ball to right field, and right field in Detroit is deep, and the way the ball can bounce out there, even Salvy could get a triple, and Salvy was booking it out of the box. I thought he was going to get it. Unfortunately, the right fielder, Winsel Perez, managed to run the ball down. On the track. It was so close. We were this close to having a Salvador Perez cycle. Can you imagine a Salvador Perez cycle? That would have just been so absolutely fantastic. Just one of the best things we've ever seen. Unfortunately, it will only continue to live in our imaginations. So every Royal has a hit tonight, because every Royal had a hit in the 6th inning. That tied a Royals record. I believe 1980 against the White Sox, they said, was when the Royals last had 9 hits in a row. Salvy had a 3-hit night. Renfroe, Fermin, and Hampson all had 2 hits. It was a good offensive night in the end. They really just absolutely tattered and battered that Tigers bullpen after really beating up on Skubal. His line for the night ended up being 7 hits, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, 5 runs allowed in 6 1/3 innings, which is the most runs he's allowed, most earned runs he's allowed in a game all year. His worst start prior to this was against the Atlanta team, and he gave up 5 runs, but only 4 of those were earned. He did pitch fewer innings in that game, so the game score might be worse than this one, but by earned runs allowed, this is his worst game of the season. By the way, that lowers his ERA to 2.57. Seth Lugo came into tonight at 3rd in the American League in ERA with a 2.57 ERA. So now Skubal, who everyone was talking about, he's the presumptive Cy Young Award winner this year, no longer leading the league in ERA. He is now tied for 2nd behind Corbin Burns with Seth Lugo. So we'll have to see how that continues as the season goes on. Seth Lugo may not win the Cy Young. He doesn't have the strikeouts, which I think are something a lot of people look for right now. And honestly, they're a thing that I look for when I'm considering who's the best pitcher. But he's going to get some votes. He's going to get some 2nd place and 3rd place votes, certainly, and maybe even a few 1st place votes. His name will be in the Cy Young voting. When you go look at his line on, when you go look at his stats on Baseball Reference next year, you're going to see a Cy Young award and then a dash and then some placement, because he will get some votes this year, which is just super cool. I don't remember how long it's been since the Royals got some Cy Young award votes, but seeing some, and Lugo's probably not the only one to get them this year. Reagans might get some votes. Singer might get some votes. By the way, when I was looking up those numbers, Brady Singer has the 5th best ERA in MLB this year. So the Royals have 2 of the top 5, and Cole Reagans coming into tonight, his ERA did go up a little bit, but coming into tonight, he had the 13th best ERA in the American League. So the Royals, the starting pitching, it's really good, y'all. It is really good. And before I give you the post-game interview with Salvador Perez, one last thing I want to talk about is the Apple TV broadcast. It was a fantastic broadcast. I know a lot of you probably missed it. I keep telling you, you got to get that free trial. They offer it all the time. Everywhere you look, you can find free trials for Apple TV. And watching Apple TV tonight was just a joy. The announcers were a lot of fun. And they had Salvi mic'd up, which was tremendous. If you missed that, you can go get your subscription to Apple TV and watch the game. Also, Danielle Royal KC, one of the more kind of popular Royals fans on Twitter, posted a lot of those clips of Salvi with his mic'd up, and that was a lot of fun. So hopefully you all got to see it. I really enjoyed this game. And I really enjoyed this broadcast. And so after this ad break, we will go ahead and give you that interview with Salvi after the game, where he had a lot of fun things to say. And until next time, go Royals!
9-2 the final tonight. 14 hits in this one from the Royals. They had a span of 9 consecutive hits in their 6-run 7th inning, which opened the door. But Salvador Perez had a huge night. 3 hits. He very nearly hit for the cycle, and he's standing by with Heidi Watney.
Yeah, I grabbed Salvador Perez. He said, "You want to talk to me? Of course we want to talk to you. You were all over this game." All right, that last at-bat, when you flew out to right field, did you think you had the triple?
100%. If he dropped that ball, we're going to go straight to 3rd base to see if I can make it there.
We got to see your speed tonight. You scored from first. You had the hustle double. Is Bobby wearing off on you?
Junior, the best player in the league right here. He teach me how to run the base. I just try to help my team to win, and we're going to do anything I can do just to help my team to win.
Well, in that vein, helping your team to win, you're playing first base, but you're still calling mound visits. Take me through when you go to the mound. What happens there?
I just start to call us. Close game like that, just be careful, okay? Don't throw nothing in the middle. It's always better start 0-0 and 3-1 or 3-0. So that's what I tell him in that situation.
How much fun are you having mentoring Fermin?
Oh, a lot. He's a pretty good kid. He likes to play hard. He likes to compete. He prepares himself every day to be behind the home plate, too.
All right, first pitch of the 2nd inning, you send it into the stands. 448 feet off of Tarik Skubal, one of the best pitchers in the game. Take me through that at-bat.
I feel hard. Hey, he's one of the best lefties in the game. I think he just tried to get ahead in the count. He did a slider right in the middle, and I hit it pretty good.
That was your 8th season of 20 or more home runs. How do you stay so consistent in normally playing catcher, a position that's so demanding?
It's a lot of sacrifice, work on my body in the off-season, and try to stay longer as I can and be in this game for a long time.
You guys had 9 straight hits as a team, not a single out, the entire lineup. What does that say about this group?
Pretty good. Junior, I don't know about that. Junior told me in that inning, like, hey, look the scoreboard. So I saw base or nice hit, so it's pretty good.
All right, you've been on a World Series championship team. Where do you think this group stacks up?
If you don't think that we're going to make it to the playoff, we're in the wrong team. It's not about to make it to the playoff. It's to win everything. And hopefully we can see ourselves in the World Series this year.
Thank you, Salvi. It was entertaining watching you once again tonight.
Thank you. See you.
Back to you, Wayne.